Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming. My name is Aria Nanda and I am one of the directors this year.
My name is Morgan Settle. I'm one of the other directors for this year.
We just are so grateful to have you all here in the audience, and before we start, we want to share a little information about All the Above and how it came into being. All the Above was founded 23 years ago in 2003, and it's dedicated to showcasing the stories of female undergraduates at Duke. How it works is in the fall, we call for anonymous monologues to be submitted, and then in the spring, we create a cast and present the monologues in our annual show. Just to emphasize, the actresses are not performing monologues that they have written. The monologues have been written by anonymous female undergraduates, and so it's someone else's words that they're performing. So we'll have 7 monologues here for you tonight. We'll conclude with a group monologue that will be very brief, but that all of us have written together.
And we just want to say thank you so much to our writers. Without your words, we would not be able to produce this show that we are so, so proud of. So thank you for being vulnerable with us, and thank you to our actresses backstage. They have worked so hard on this since the fall, and they're so excited to share their work with you. And then finally, thank you to my co-director. I love you. I couldn't do this without you. You're everything. And thank you to you guys for being here. We're really excited to share this with you.
So please join us in giving a round of applause and welcoming our actresses.
Ever since I was younger, I've been obsessed with the idea of love. I would read those really corny Wattpad books that were low-key just really bad porn, wishing for a love like the one so many of my favorite authors have written about. I'd imagine a wedding dress and a wedding ring and a spectacular husband who would bring me flowers and literally blow my mind in the bedroom. At the same time, I was a huge pessimist about love. Maybe it came from not having a good example of what it's supposed to look like at home or my own personal insecurities, but still, I never thought that the type of love I read about was something I would ever be privileged enough to experience. Don't get me wrong, I got plenty of male attention. That sounded a bit presumptuous, but I mean, I got as much male attention as any decently attractive person in high school got. I had people who wanted to be with me, but any time a guy would express interest in me, I would find something wrong with him. Oh, he's just too sweet. He must be faking it. Oh, he's just too attractive. He's definitely gonna cheat on me. Oh, he's just too tall. I'd have to strain my neck to kiss him? I'm being so serious when I say I would find anything and make that a problem. Because of this, I didn't experience any serious romantic connection until I was probably a freshman in college. He was a friend of a friend and completely obsessed with me. I mean, in terms of treating me like a princess, he checked all the boxes. He'd send me good morning texts telling me how much he appreciated me and would take me on thoughtful dates, and was one of the first people that I met who I thought truly listened to me and cared what I had to say. Crazy, I know, right? Everything was going well with him until he confessed to me that he loved me. This would have been a dream come true, but I just simply did not feel the same way, and I hated myself for it. Granted, Mans told me he loved me after like a month of talking, so he definitely needed to slow down, but still, I felt like I was broken. I didn't understand why I wouldn't just let myself love. I blamed myself, I blamed my daddy issues, I blamed it on being too busy. I kept doing this while continuing to lead this man on, until one day I realized that it's okay not to love someone just because they love you. And it's so selfish to stick around just because you want to feel wanted. I decided to break things off with him, which was a melodrama in and of itself, and instead focus my time and energy on myself. I stopped spending so much energy thinking and looking for love and just lived life on my own. Side note, no one tells you how boring it is to walk around with no prospects, no one to romanticize, no one you're even remotely interested in. It was absolutely awful. That went on for days, weeks, months, until I met him. He approached me at a bar when I was out with my friends, and we instantly clicked. We talked about our passion for mental health and our career aspirations and our family backgrounds until he finally took the hint and asked me out. Our first date went just as well, minus the fact the food was pretty awful. I was absolutely mesmerized by his vulnerability and thoughtfulness and thought it was so cute. He was so nervous. Very soon after, he asked me out, and for the first time ever, I didn't even think. I just said yes. I mean, how could I not? He was like a breath of fresh air and brought light into every room he walked in and was kind and handsome and thoughtful and said all the right things, so I couldn't help but fall for him. I tried to find something, anything wrong with him, but realized that his imperfections didn't seem so imperfect to me. Everything was easy with him, so when he told me he loved me, I believed him and I said it back. Being with him made me grateful that I had never used those three little words until him, because nothing I had ever experienced could ever live up to what he meant to me. So if you're someone who's worried that they'll never find love, never find someone who prioritizes you, someone who not only loves you, but that you can also love, think again. It may take a while for it to happen, but don't settle until you do, because when you find that person, you will never want to let go. Keep being a hopeless romantic and know that when your love comes, it will make all the heartbreak and missed opportunities feel like nothing in comparison. So no, I didn't have some bad boy mafia swoop me off my feet like so many of the books that I read when I was younger. But I'd like to believe that the story we're crafting will give the other ones a run for their money. And yes, I know how incredibly corny this all sounds, and that these monologues are usually about how men aren't shit, which I completely agree with, by the way. But I'm writing this to give you hope that there is a select 0.0001% of them that are.
Sorry, guys. It's a girl's worst nightmare. He can't get it up. No, it's not whiskey dick. No, it's not a porn addiction. At least that's what he told me. No, he's not gay. At least I hope not. He could be on Prozac, but same. I'm a 34 triple D, you guys. What's wrong? Ladies, if you've ever been in a situation like that, then you know there's a few things you could say to your man if he can't get it up. You could tell him you don't care, even if you do. Or you could sob because you don't feel attractive. In case anyone is wondering, always pick the first option. Not to be the defender of male rights or anything, but sometimes guys just can't get it up. And that's okay. You know, we've all been there. Well, I guess what I'm trying to have a conversation about is that no one is willing to have a conversation about sex. Clearly, I don't believe in TMI. Let me set the scene. I meet this guy, let's call him Alex. Alex and I go on 4 or 5 dates before he ends up coming over one night. We're making out, my favorite part, and then he gets up to go get a condom. Safe sex, ladies. And then, well, it just stops, and I'm laying there like, what the fuck is happening? He tells me that he can't stay hard. I've never been in a situation like this before. mean, granted, I haven't had many opportunities to ever be in a situation like that, but I do vividly remember the two questions that remained in my brain when he said this. One, why was this happening to him? But more importantly, why on earth was this happening to me? Here's the thing that guys don't realize needs to happen before sex. Communication. Guys think that the enthusiastic yes is more than enough to get a girl's consent and to make them feel good about themselves. In reality, a lot more needs to happen, especially if you want good sex. No, I'm not saying I need your whole life story or anything before we hook up, but I do want to know what you're looking for and what makes you happy. And I also want you to ask me what I'm looking for and what makes me happy. Like, when a guy wants to pleasure me, world stops. And I'm also not saying that you need to ask your hookup for the whole crazy, passionate, out-of-this-world, dirty talk sex. But I do think that sex is about exchange. Pleasure should be threefold. Listening, giving, and receiving. But the problem with Alex was that he didn't communicate about how he felt during sex and what caused this issue. To be honest, I didn't care that he had a hard... Oh, that's probably the wrong word. Time. What I cared about is that we made each other happy, and I hoped that he was working on something, even if he felt ashamed of it. But Alex never communicated any of those things. He just couldn't stay hard. And that was it. Flashback again. Alex tells me that his inability to, isn't about me. He says that I'm not the first girl this has ever happened with. Great. But he did seem like super nervous and uncomfortable, so obviously I put aside my dazzling and humorous personality, and I tell him that it's okay. We don't have to do anything. Ugh. Ladies, here's what we don't realize needs to happen before sex. Foreplay! I'm kidding. Communication, too. We've been told our whole lives that we can say no to sex. But we've never actually been taught how to say no. And don't get me wrong, I wanted to fuck Alex. And I'm sure he wanted to fuck me too, but I didn't know how to say to him, no. I don't think I want a relationship with somebody who isn't actively working on something that affects us both. I didn't know how to say, no, I don't like it when you push my head down when you want things other than sex. I didn't know how to say, no, I don't like being the only one giving and never the one receiving. And I guess I was too scared to say, no, this isn't enough. I want sex, good sex. But I didn't want to appear too forthcoming or be seen as a slut. Ladies, we've been told our whole lives that we can say no, but never how to say, I want sex, without the shame of it. Last flashback, I promise. And it won't be too revealing. Alex and I are hooking up one fateful night in July, and he can't stay hard for the third time now. He tells me that he thinks the fact that we are in a long-distance relationship is affecting him in the bedroom. You know what that sounds like? Denial. We ended things that night, and thank God. I did really like Alex, I wanted to make things work, or I guess help him make his thing work. I don't know. But the truth is that my pleasure is my responsibility. I
need to take accountability for myself and my sex life. And Alex should do the same. Boys, if you can't stay hard or you have an embarrassing moment during sex, it's fine. We don't care if you have a momentary issue. What we do care about is if you aren't actively fixing something at our expense. Like, I just wanted to yell at Alex, see a doctor, go to therapy, come out as gay, do anything, but let this affect your relationship, even if that relationship isn't with me. Oh God. I really hope you're not judging me right now. You know, I promise I wrote this whole thing mainly to process the fact that I felt really gross and undesirable after being with Alex. And please don't judge Alex. You know, he actually texted me a few days ago asking to get back together, but I haven't agreed to anything just yet. I haven't agreed to anything because, well, I've been with other guys since Alex, and none of them were as sweet as him, but all of them were more proactive. Yeah. Those guys taught me the meaning of giving and receiving. Yeah. Oof. Fuck. Thinking about those guys. Yeah. Alex and I are never getting back together. But he will have taught me a very valuable lesson that I can share with you all now. Ladies, don't be afraid to ask for sex. And men, don't be afraid of Viagra.
Before leaning in, I glanced left and locked eyes with my now ex-boyfriend. His expression shifted to star-struck anticipation as I turned back and kissed her. She pulled away after a couple seconds, laughing. "You bit my lip!" Oh, I wanted to die of embarrassment. But when I looked back at the boyfriend, he shot me a supportive grin. Was that because Shane, that was his name, probably still is, was suddenly a pillar of progressive ideology, a champion of bisexual rights? Nope, he was a passive-aggressive nepo baby, heir to the Applebee's fortune, who fussed when I spoke to my male friends and demanded he always had my location. And yet, when I kissed Rachel, he was pleased. Shane might have been impressed, but I was crushed. 6 years earlier, I'd come out to my dad. Yet, since then, I'd only dated boys. Dating a man made me feel like I wasn't genuinely bisexual. Kissing Rachel was an attempt to prove my sexuality, not just to Shane and our friends, but to myself. And although I felt the attraction, the performance made me feel more fraudulent than ever. To fellow bisexuals and heterosexual relationships, I understand how you feel, but your relationship doesn't erase your sexuality. Your bisexuality remains valid without proof, and the attempts to validate it, especially while in a relationship, can be deeply damaging, both to yourself and the broader queer community. Bisexuals are the single largest group in the LGBTQIA+ community, yet they face immense discrimination, both within and outside queer spaces. We're often stereotyped as promiscuous, indecisive, incapable of commitment. In the 1970s and 80s, when lesbian spaces were created as safe havens for men, bisexual women were seen as traitors for their relationships with men, accused of benefiting from lesbian intimacy while still clinging on to heterosexual privilege. in kissing my friend, quite poorly I might add, while in a relationship, I was perpetuating both harmful tropes. In trying to prove my queerness, I ended up reinforcing the idea that female bisexuality is about cherry-picking moments of lesbianism for attention or validation, then retreating to the comforts of heterosexuality. Outside the queer community, there's a widespread belief that women exaggerate or perform their same-sex attraction. It's no doubt then that bisexual women, especially those in heterosexual relationships, often end up doubting their own identities. In 3 separate studies where participants evaluated dating profiles of bisexual individuals, both queer and straight participants were more likely to assume that bisexual women were actually straight. Yes, prejudice against bisexual individuals has existed for a long time, both within and outside queer spaces. And maybe this comes from the recovering, self-hating bisexual that lives within me, but I do understand the prejudice perspective. If you're in a straight-passing, monogamous relationship, then, for lack of a better word, where does your queerness show? Why do you deserve respect for defying heteronormativity if you're not? Why should you gain access to the safety of queer communities or even the social clout that comes with being visibly different? To bisexuals in straight-passing relationships, some lesbians and gay men might argue, you don't suffer like we do just to be who you are. You don't get dirty looks walking down the street holding hands with your partner. You don't get called slurs. Hell, we couldn't even get married until 2015. These are valid and painful truths, but sexuality is a spectrum, and attraction to multiple genders is no less real or radical than attraction to one. When members of the queer community dismiss or diminish bisexual identities, aren't they echoing the same gatekeeping and prejudice historically used against them? Doesn't it take a different but equally profound kind of bravery for bisexuals to assert their identity in a community that so often questions its legitimacy? And bi people do suffer at the hands of their own community. Because of biphobia and bi-erasure, bisexual individuals face significantly higher rates of depression and anxiety, domestic violence, sexual assault, and poverty than not just straight people, but gay men and lesbians. But here's the bottom line. People will doubt you. Your bisexuality remains valid, whether you're dating a man or a woman or out there kissing your friends to try and prove it. And I'm not saying don't explore your sexuality. Listen, I'm a free person. I've been to Berlin, for God's sake. But experimenting while in a relationship to maintain or prove your bisexuality just ends up reinforcing the same damaging stereotypes that bisexual individuals constantly fight against. It feeds the myth of the hypersexualized bisexual woman who is promiscuous but secretly straight. It's unfortunate and unfair, but it's reality in a world that distorts these experiences. So don't pressure yourself to validate your identity externally. If you're a bisexual woman in a relationship with a man, maybe it feels unfortunate sometimes. But it really is okay. Your identity is yours alone, and it stays true regardless of who you're dating.
Three words that ask a question worth thousands. I have millions of cells and neurons firing in perfect rhythm. Muscles, bones, and skin, given life from the breath of God. Anatomically, I am a human. I'm so much more. I'm a daughter. A combination of equal parts good and bad. A consequence of an unplanned pregnancy. Blessing to some, and trouble to others. I am who some seek, and who some push away. I'm a Christian, raised a Methodist, grown up a Southern Baptist, now a member of a non-denominational church. I'm a student, born an Indian, changed to an eagle, and now Blue Devil. I'm a friend. I try to be kind, yet fail. I'm an oversharer, never afraid to speak of my own problems. I am the shoulder to cry on, yet the one who makes those I love cry. I am a giver, yet never give the right things. I'm held to unreasonable expectations and punished for never fulfilling them. I hold on too long. To people, to moments, to could-have-beens. I'm a combination of wants and desires and wishes. I want to be a doctor. To be the mom I never had to my future children. I want to help others, but be able to ask for help myself. I want to let others in, to trust them with my flaws. I want to be different to those who made me, but also embody their good qualities. I want to make a difference, to leave a legacy. I was here, and I was good. I'm a failure. Failed friendships, failed honesty, failed good deeds, failed family. Should I go on? I'm the one who blames herself, even when she cannot control the outcome. The one who pushes herself to be the best at everything, yet ends up everywhere all at once, causing just everything to crumble in front of her. I am a success. With a combination of both tragedy and blessing, I have learned from the objects of my past and try my best to change my future. I have made mistakes, not learned from everyone, yet strive to continue to be better than I was yesterday. I've taken my past and transformed it into the wood that fuels my fire to prove both my doubts and the doubts of others wrong. I am the one who tries her hardest to be the best she can be. And yes, I fail, but everyone does. You have to fall 100 times to be good, and fail even more to succeed. I am a survivor. I am decorated with physical, mental, and emotional scars, but I survived. I transformed my life from the hell that it once was to the slightly better hell than it is now. I overcame the cloudiness and chose to see the sun, to see the life I had left to live. I abandoned the broken shell I was and chose to be a more full, more confident, more capable being. I am the future. I hold the potential to change the world. I am the bane of some people's existence and beloved by many others. I have flaws, and they are many, but they are mine. To be so young, with an entire lifetime ahead, I am glad. I am glad to have lived and learned through my shortcomings and the ones of others. I can be an example. I can make the right choices,
do the right things. I can be so much. I can do so much. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I let it guide me. If my heart is good and filled with the words and values of my God, then my heart will always lead me in the right direction. I'm smart, and funny, and kind, and I've achieved so much, and I will not stop reaching. I am not a disappointment. I'm not unlovable. I do not ruin everything I touch. They were wrong. This is who I am. My life is a series of unfortunate events, but I choose to be grateful. Grateful for growth, for therapy, for a college essay, for a story to tell and voice to tell it with, for opportunity and second chances, for forgiveness and possibility. I have my whole life to decide who I am, to do all that I want to do, to be all that I want to be. But life is short, and I can sleep when I'm dead. So fuck it. I'm not starting tomorrow, or next week, or on January 1st, because this isn't a damn diet. This is my life. I'm starting today.
Before coming to college, I was certain I would never join a sorority. From what I had seen in the movies, sororities were culty groups of girls who jumped up and down and tried to relive their days as high school cheerleaders. I was not one of those girls. In high school, I always put my academics first, and my social life second. I never really cared about parties or friend groups or popularity. In my small high school, everybody hung out with everybody else, despite how different we all were. And I never thought once about my social status. Then I came to Duke. And from the moment I got here, it seemed like all anybody could talk about was Greek life. I heard about girls going to Dirty Rush events and kept on seeing photos on Instagram of people at parties I had no idea were even happening. I, like many other freshmen, wanted to come to college and was excited to go out and have fun. But I thought that the only opportunity I had to have a social life was by joining a sorority. So by the start of second semester, I was obsessed with joining a top sorority and fully prepared to rush. I did everything I could think of. I got my hair done the night before, asked every upperclassman I knew for rush advice, and even got 2 new tops I knew would really pop on Zoom. After the first night of Zooms, I would gather with my friends in Marketplace to debrief. And we all thought we had great conversations with the older girls, discussing which sororities we were going to rank first. I remember going to bed before the second round, happy as a clam. The next morning, I woke up like a kid on Christmas morning and excitedly rushed to my laptop to see which sororities had taken me back for the second round. I was shocked when I saw that only 2 sororities wanted me back. All of those conversations that I thought had gone so well had resulted in nothing. I spent the rest of Rush in a panic. It felt like my entire college experience hinged on these next few days. Suddenly, something that had seemed so silly and shallow became my entire world. I heard of girls dropping out of Rush because they hadn't gotten the sororities they wanted back. And by midnight, I was dejected and defeated. I was sure I wasn't going to get the sorority I'd ranked first back. As I slowly opened up my letter outside of Baldwin, I read the Greek letters in disbelief. I had gotten the sorority I ranked first back. I was stunned and overjoyed. Finally, I had gotten the social validation I had so desperately craved my first semester. Finally, I joined an exclusive club that so many other girls had been rejected from. My first few weeks in Greek life were weird. I found myself drinking more than I ever had and met so many new girls. I felt like I was the only one in my sorority without an established friend group, and felt forced to leave behind all of my friends who were independent or were in a different sorority. People started to treat me differently, too. Guys were more interested in me when they found out my affiliation. And people who had never even previously bothered to say hi to me suddenly wanted to be my friend. I felt trapped by fake and disingenuous people. All I had wanted was a group of friends to have fun with, but I felt more isolated and alone than ever. I went home at the end of my freshman year feeling like a social failure. I didn't have a big friend group of 10 girls, or a boyfriend in a top fraternity, like so many of the girls that I knew. My self-esteem was lower than it had ever been. Despite this, the summer after freshman year changed my outlook. After spending time outside of the Duke bubble, I remembered what it was like to not constantly be comparing myself to other girls, or worrying what guys thought of me. I made genuine friends while studying abroad in Italy and realized the best friendships form organically. When August arrived, I dreaded coming back to Duke. I knew I would once again have to face the stress of drinking and hooking up and the omnipresent conversations around Greek life. But it turns out I was wrong. When we all came back, everyone seemed less preoccupied with Greek life and didn't seem to care as much. More importantly, I didn't seem to care as much. I realized I had been giving way too much power to Greek life and Duke's social hierarchy. I let it define how I saw other people and how I saw myself. I wasn't fully appreciating what my friends and what Duke had to offer because I was so caught up in the superficial labels of Greek life and the latent elitism on campus. The more I reflect, the more I realize the problem wasn't really Greek life, but rather the fact that people can be really shallow here. At Duke, so many of us judge other girls by their looks, what high school they went to, what sorority they're in. We try and go out and hook up with random guys as if that makes us more valuable women. We subconsciously look past people who could make great friends just because they aren't affiliated with Greek life. Everyone comes to Duke knowing that it's academically rigorous, but nobody prepares you for how socially rigorous it is. Duke can be a really tough place, especially for girls, and especially for girls on the margins of Greek life. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Greek life at Duke comes with a lot of benefits. No one loves a good party more than me, and I certainly wouldn't want to live in a world where Pie and Hard and Piketoberfest didn't exist. But it becomes dangerous when we let it define how we see others, and more importantly, how we see ourselves. I sometimes still guiltily name drop my sorority when meeting someone new, and watch them look at me with a little more respect. And I'm not blind to the privileges that Greek life gives me, but I also now know that I don't need a picture-perfect friend group for Instagram, or to rub elbows with people I deem more socially important. I am more than my sorority. I'm more than my hometown. I'm even more than Duke. We try to put ourselves into boxes to prove ourselves, to prove that we belong.
But in doing so, we lose the best parts of ourselves. If there's anything I've learned over the past couple of years, it's to look beyond the labels and beyond what's on the outside. Because really, there's so much more beneath the surface.
There were so many things I loved about abroad. Traveling, blacking out in European clubs, meeting new friends, and of course, the food. After a whole semester of churros and pastel de queso, it was time to get back on my gym grind. So, one fateful day in January, I found myself in the blue light gym. In case some of you are unfamiliar with the layout of this body dysmorphia box, I'd like to note that the treadmills give you the special opportunity of looking into other blue light apartments. So, as I jog along in quiet solitude, I notice two guys pointing and giggling at me. God, is there something in my face? Or maybe it's because I haven't shaved my legs in 2 weeks. Fuck, should have never worn shorts in here. It's because I'm running too slowly, isn't it? Give me a break, guys. This is my first time running in 5 months. Time to up my speed by 0.1 miles per hour. That'll show him. As I continue running, racking my brain for what can induce such laughter in these guys, I noticed that one had now left the window, and the other was moving up a sign against the class. On this cardboard sign, in enormous black letters, were the words, "Oversized truck loaded." Okay. Now I know why they were laughing. It's because I think I'm a little fatty. I mean, I know I'm not in my best shape, but am I really an oversized truck? At least I'm on the treadmill trying to become a normally sized truck. As a wave of insecurity floods over me, I consider quitting my workout early and leaving the shade. But no, I shall not yield. I increased my speed by 0.2 miles per hour, running faster and faster for a whole minute. Sorry. The boys are nowhere to be seen. Perhaps I scared them away with my fearless persistence. But then, out of nowhere, appears one of the guys on the balcony, fully in the nude. My jaw dropped. All this time I thought I was the oversized truck when really it was his enormous dick. I mean, guys, it was literally the biggest dick I've ever seen. I don't know if plastic surgeons do dick jobs, but if they do, he must have got one. So I continue running in shock. You know, I realized that I can't let my flasher's ego get as big as his little dick. So I do this. And instantly, my flasher returned back inside. Poor thing is probably reconsidering why his last girlfriend broke up with him. Later that night, I recount the whole thing to my boyfriend on FaceTime. I mean, I've never seen one that big, I said. Besides yours, of course. Close one. The following months after, I kept running into my well-endowed flasher. Every time I make eye contact with him, I search his face for any sign of recognition, but nothing indicates that he's seen me before. Sometimes I wonder if it was all in my head. Until I met up with a friend whom I hadn't seen in a while, and she told me about the last guy she had hooked up with. I mean, I've never seen one that big, she told me. I asked to see a picture of the guy, and suddenly, the dots connected. The picture was, of course, of none other than my blue light flasher. Yeah, he looks like he has one oversized truck, I said.
I'm a bad friend. I'm not thoughtful, and certainly not considerate. I wasn't always this way, though. Coming into college, I was the kind of person who remembered the little things. What your niche allergies are and your sister's childhood best friend's name. When someone else can remember the name of somebody they met at Marketplace, I knew their class schedule and daddy issues. Oh, how's Marge doing at home? That was my shit. But I'm doing my head for that these days. It seems like I ceaselessly drop the ball with the people I care about the most. Not for lack of desire, but I don't know what. What happened? Now I'm a senior at Duke and I don't know how I felt. How can a person know everything at 18 and nothing at 22? Is what the great, or not so great recently, poet of our time, Taylor Swift says about it. But I'm majoring in unemployment and no bitches, and I'm still a bad friend. A friend who has known me for over half of my life recently told me that she knows I'll show up if there's an emergency, but she can almost guarantee I won't be there for any of the in-between. Ouch. But this made me realize a truth that I'm scared to say out loud. I don't trust myself either. I'm not sure I can count on me the way I used to. And I'm not sure when this shift happened, or whether it was gradual, like a slow erosion, or sudden, like something inside of me quietly snapped. But before I knew it, there was less about me that made me proud than that what made me ashamed. Yes, my mom was right. The unread texts built up, 1,935. The birthdays wished only when my phones reminded me to, and the homework deadlines that passed like I didn't work my ass off to be at this school. The people pleaser in me had never struggled to please. I would bend backwards for the people I loved. Again, it's not that over time I've lost any love or care for these people. Holy, I love my friends. Who else would I cosplay hated rivalry with? An actual lover? No, it's just that my attention now feels fractured. My mind is overwhelmed by this constant hum of worry. I am always thinking, always anticipating, always exhausted. And so the energy I once poured outwards now gets consumed before it can reach anyone else. And then I'm left to grapple with the idea that people don't think I care. I care. Jose Olivares, a renowned poet and my favorite crash out writer, said, "I killed a plant once because I gave it too much water." Lord, I worry that love is violence. It took me repeatedly showering my socially anxious college best friend with multiple surprise parties that she didn't want over the course of her birthday weekend to realize there is more love and intimacy in listening to what someone wants, rather than doing for them what you assume they would want. And it was this that caused me to realize I wasn't the considerate friend who wants people to feel seen on their birthdays, but rather somebody who was reduce, reuse, recycling her own ideals of friendship onto others. I think in some ways, part of it is a negative feedback loop. Somewhere along the course of these friendships, I have realized I do not feel secure. I struggle to confidently say that my friends like me or enjoy my company. Maybe it's our teasing nature, maybe it's the fact that we don't say I love you. I thought I would try to be different from my mom, say I love you when I can. It's funny how cycles repeat themselves. But the thing is, if a single one of my friends came to me with this problem, I would tell them that we are not designed to be every boat's anchor, and that the current version of them that is flawed, and not always at 100%, is just as worthy of love as the ideal image of themselves. And I must qualify, within this spiral of insecurity that I'm sharing with you, I don't actually believe we should scrutinize ourselves to this degree. I do believe we should give ourselves grace, despite the voice in our heads telling us not to. And wherever that voice originates from, your mom, your dad, a mentor you look up to, actually it's always your mom, but as we grow into our frontal lobes, we have to learn how to change that voice. The spiraling and the negative self-talk and the deep-seated belief that I do not deserve any of the good things or people in my life seem to be ingrained in me, as faded as a fingerprint to a hand. But when I look back on my last 4 years here, I may not have as much overflowing love as I did freshman year, knowing everyone's intimate details and throwing my friend 5 birthday parties, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. I was so used to being the sole giver that I didn't know how to receive. I was the one that desperately pulled my family together for every holiday. I didn't know how to react when my friends remembered my favorite cake. What makes me cry? How I want to make my mom proud. I just wanted to double it and give it back to them. But in the moments when I let my friends hold my hand, they melted the fingerprints I thought were etched in me. I didn't think it was possible. And listen, I don't have the answer to the everyone hates you spiral. I said we need to learn how to change our inner dialogue as our frontal lobe develops, but I still have like 4 years, so maybe I'll know something at 26, if not 22. All I know is I care. You care. Tell people that you care. Let them in. Tell people that you love them. Let them hold your hand.
I am so proud of how far I've come.
More than what's on the surface.
Desirable.
A survivor.
Handling things better than I used to.
I want
to make people smile, to push past my limits,
To hug my friends.
Really good sushi.
to let go.
I wish
That I could forgive myself,
I could tell him how I felt. That I could lock in.
that time was on my side.
I feel
Like I will never love someone as much as I've loved you.
Grateful, hopeful for new beginnings.
So happy to be alive.
we are Duke women. We are all of the above.
After show, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.